warrant special too, but is he worth an extra 50 bucks?
See, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's the way they do the registration for it.
The recorders are on.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Bugby, the trees cut down by the annex.
Oh, yeah? Which, oh, that one was
pine
dead?
tree- That
Okay.
dead pine tree's gone.
Oh,
I was out there, I don't remember what it was for. Was it for the meeting with the library? And I just
I think
noticed
the
it's-
library,
is it-
It's gone, it got cut down Friday afternoon.
Okay,
good.
is that something we did, or did we get somebody to do it?
Paid somebody to do it.
Thank
Worry
you.
on the gas tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I could land. There's two of them, John. Yeah, another one. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
I can see the anticipation is killing us.
6 o'clock in May, May 12th, 2025. Call the meeting to order. Public comment? Do you have a comment to be made? Come to the podium. You have 3 minutes. Address your comments to the board, not to the audience. Anybody interested? No. Okay. Appointments. Steve Bullock.
I was just looking to see which one was on there first, so we'll go in order. A month and a half, 2 months ago, I came to you about the transfer station sprinklers. We went out to bid, got one bid back, and it's from the company that originally put it in. The company that actually maintains it now didn't put in a bid, so, which was odd. I sent it to 5 different companies, emails, and then it was posted. The price came back pretty high. So I don't really have a recommendation. I don't know what you guys want to do with the price that we got. I don't know if you want us to just try to fix it and keep going with what we've been doing, if you just want to bite the bullet and do it for that price. Go back out to bid, like, I don't know what you guys wanna do.
Questions for Steve?
Well, if you have any questions, my answer is, you keep repairing, it's gonna keep on breaking all the time.
Yeah, it's one of the things where we either do it and spend a lot of money, or we keep fixing it and spend more money, so I don't,
I agree, we should just bite the bullet.
Can we ask Mr. Tappan? That's in the financial planning tool, correct?
it is.
Yes, it is, but.
But I think it's
you know,
way less than that. He has it is way less,
18,000.
yeah.
Whoa.
So the current company, because the problem is the pipes are what's bursting, right?
Yeah,
Could we have the current company just replace the pipes, or is that what?
that
this-
is just replacing the pipes.
But the current company is not interested.
They didn't put in a bid. So, because how I did the bid is found somebody else that kind of did the same thing in a transfer station actually, and then we still had the original plans from the building from 23 years ago.
Yep.
And the DOT was nice enough to scan them into a PDF for me so I could attach it to the bid so everyone could physically see it. And we only got one back. That's the only company that showed up for the site walk too. And there's an addendum in it, so there's the sprinklers for 52 and change. And then there's the big valve that is the dry valve. There's like a flapper in it and it holds the water down with the air pressure on top of it. And the additional cost is to change that out while they're in there.
So it's not just the pipes, it's,
It's the pipes to that valve, but that valve leaks.
oh, it
And
is.
so we have to drain water out from the dry side every once or twice a month.
My issue is, where do we pay for it? That's the thing. Because if there's 18 in the financial planning tool, that's what we've been saving for.
Yeah, but don't you have a lot more in the town building capital reserve fund than $18,000?
You've got a transfer station equipment fund too.
I don't know if that would qualify for that though.
Yeah, because that's, I don't think so.
There's maybe 830 something presently in the town buildings capital reserve fund.
I didn't put the valve in there, that's almost 6,000.
Sorry.
6,000 above that price?
Above the
Above,
52.
right.
Oh, six, what?
Above that price.
5760 for the pipe, for the valve.
Any comments, Dave? What are your thoughts?
I have no thoughts.
I'm reluctant for the cost.
I know you're reluctant, but
I was reluctant when I got it, which is why I didn't,
Yeah.
like, I figured we'd talk about it. It's a lot of money.
What about doing nothing?
I'm not thinking about doing nothing.
If we don't replace it,
Yeah.
I have to fix the pipes that are there to make the system start working again, because the fire chief called the state and that building, because of its size, by very, very little has to be fire protected.
You said it was like 12 feet over.
Yeah, it's like 12 feet too long.
Steve and I talked about what you were actually protecting with the sprinkler system here in a steel building with the concrete floor that houses trash, and
Yeah.
that was,
So
came back
it's
with it. It
not
was a
working
requirement.
now? That's.
It is not working. If we, because it had two big leaks that set the alarm off and then put water through the system, and the fire department had to get called to go to a bunch of broken pipes.
So we're looking at like $59,000 to do this.
Yeah.
Also, do we have, I think you gave us some information, there's still ARPA money left, right?
There is not really any ARPA money, and we can't commit to anything after this past calendar year ended if you hadn't committed to a project via a specific item that you were going to purchase. And we pretty much spent it down. I'm going to say that I may have to send them $750 back next year. but
Okay,
boy,
I thought we had some left.
that's pretty good. You spent it down.
okay.
We just did the last report was due at the end of April, so.
Okay. All right.
You have until April of
It was-
until December 31st of '26 to spend it, but you had to be committed and have very specific
I did not know that.
intention.
All right. I'm hesitant.
I know you're hesitant, but sometimes you gotta move forward. You don't wanna take a chance getting a fire inside the station, that's for sure. Especially the fire chief looking at us over there.
I can deal with him looking at me, it doesn't bother me.
It's just where you could get the money from.
And there's what, 800?
I think there's, John may have the specifics, it's over 800.
Right now, it's 742,000, and then you're gonna add this coming year 100,000.
But it's
I was
only,
jumping the gun on the additions.
so it's only in the financial pool for 18,000, all right?
Correct.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad estimate on my part.
So we're actually looking for 40,000 more than we estimated.
With what is actually planned to be paid for in the FPT, the amount that you are going to add this coming fiscal year is more than what was required,
Okay.
because the FPT is not planning on town office building.
Mhm. Okay. How good is this, how long is this bid good for?
Probably 30 days. It's gonna be toward the end. Because I think a lot of the problem is the pipe too, is coming from over the border. So we have that issue that we're dealing with too right now. But when I did the estimate on this,
Yep.
when I did the estimate on this for the 18, I kind of just took a wheel
Mhm.
and said, it costs us this much to do this pipe this time, and then try to extrapolate it out. But that was 18, like, just in materials, not,
Mhm.
so.
So there's a tariff cost added to this?
I don't know if there is, but I know that that pipe comes from over the border.
Anything with steel in it right now has gone up ginormously in the last
Mhm.
years anyway.
So if the system's not working now, when would the fire chief shut it down?
Well, it's been down since,
Well, I'm just asking the law.
there is really no law, I mean,
Okay.
we work with all businesses in town, and we work with the transfer station, it's been down since December, January.
February. Been down for a while.
That's the biggest thing, it's, hopefully before July, we were kind of talking and hoping that the system would be up by then. I'm assuming that we probably can't do it out of cisterns and fire ponds.
I would think so. That isn't the definition. Mr. Tappan?
John Tappan, 187 Stepping Stones Road. Just a question, the original piping started leaking several years ago, not,
Before I got here.
so, a number of years ago, so it actually didn't last very long. The replacement pipe, is it the same type?
Thicker.
So,
The new pipe's bigger,
All right,
because we had that problem.
had no problem. All right. Is there anything else that needs to be fixed in this thing? Or just those things?
That's all I know, it's just a straight up, take the pipe out and replace it.
Okay.
I tried to make it so they didn't even have to do the hangers that were already up there, just use the same hangers, and, because there's nothing wrong with the hangers.
So what's the price with everything?
52,760 plus 5760. Looks like $58,520.
All right, any other questions? Painful.
It is painful. That is really painful.
All right. I move to authorize the town administrator into a contract with Capital Fire to replace the the sprinkler system in the transfer station in an amount not to exceed $57,520. Funds to come from the town buildings capital reserve fund. Do I have a second?
It was actually 58,520. Because
thought you said 57.
You did.
He did. This is the guy that handles our finances?
I heard 58.
Yeah, 58.
The valve is 5,700.
Yes, 5760.
Oh, okay. John and I heard 58, 57, so. Rewind the tape.
58,520.
All right,
There you
so,
go. Try it again.
all right. Do I have to read it again? Yeah, all right. So, did you second that?
I haven't seconded anything yet.
Oh, good, good. So I removed that. so-
Making a friendly movement.
Okay, so I move to authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with Capital Fire to replace the sprinkler system in the transfer station, amount not to exceed $58,520. Funds to come from the town buildings capital reserve fund. And I'm losing my place. Second. Discussion? No?
It's the right thing to do.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Feel better now?
It didn't, it was gonna get fixed either way.
That was a chunk of change.
Yeah.
You Steve, a lot of money going out the door because of you. We'll see. Next.
Yeah, paving, so we did a paving bid. We sent it out to, I mean, these are the four that usually bid every single year minus one or two. I'm looking not to go with the low bid this year, because the last time we used the low bidder, that would, in this, we had nothing but issues. They had to go back and repave a whole bunch of butt joints because there were speed bumps. I mean, they're responsible for the speed bump at the transfer station when you're leaving. That big bump is them. They underbid their tonnage, and they always go over what they bid, no matter what we do. So my calculations for what we should put out are closer to what Continentals are. Pike's flaggers aren't the best. Last time we had them, they just kind of randomly left at 3 o'clock, and we ended up having to do it, and I had to get the police chief in his cruiser and his pajamas to come sit out there at night so we didn't get run over randomly at our little river park. It just wasn't good. And we've had good luck with Continental. They grind every driveway joint. We haven't had a driveway complaint in 3.5 years, so just do a better job. More professional.
Continental was second cheapest.
Second cheapest.
They weren't close to the highest.
If Pike goes over the 300, and Continental has 307 more tons in their bid than Pike. If Pike goes to the 300, it's a difference of $8,000.
Now, since crude oil's coming down, they
So the
wanted
eight-
your price for,
They bid this liquid at $6.50 a ton, which is this month's price. AC follows diesel down, but it usually takes 3 months. So where diesel has dropped, the AC will start going down next month.
but they'll give you the cheaper price, or will they?
The escalations and de-escalations in it make it so we go to the lower price.
Okay.
Just like if it were to go up, the price would go up.
Accordingly. Now, you're asking for 50,000, which was in the operating budget, and $250,000, which is a separate warrant article.
Yeah,
So in terms of the Continental, it's like 298.
I have a little bit I was gonna encumber from this past year too, but
Okay,
I don't think they're gonna use all of it.
okay.
They never have. Every year we've had them, they usually come in a little bit under, so
Is there another road that they can do that's, no, not really?
maybe,
Okay. Well, since they're out there, you
yeah.
know, you feel a little extra, so, all right. Any questions for Steve?
No.
Steve, you all set? What's their name? Just Continental
Continental
Paving?
paving, yep.
So I move to authorize the town administrator into a contract with Continental Paving for the 2025 paving year in amount not to exceed $298,870.40, with $50,000 to come from the 2026 highway operating budget, and the balance not to exceed $250,000 to come from the town's general fund per warrant article number 6, 2025 warrant article number 6. Have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
I think that's the fastest $300,000 we've ever spent.
Yeah, we really blew some cash out, huh?
Chief Nemeth?
I'm not asking for money.
Oh, good.
Oh, I don't know. I'll be asking a question about you and money, so.
This thing that put into the agenda, I just wanted to give everybody a copy. So I know Andy brought it up, I think, last meeting, that we've been having discussions with Barrington and Madbury. So I sat on the Barrington Fire Chief's OR board a couple weeks ago. Their OR board with the people that sat in on the interviews revolved a lot around regionalization and working together with all the departments. So after we did that, I actually met with the town administrator from Barrington, Connor McIver, and the Madbury Fire Chief, Tom Purley, on April 15th. We sat down and just kind of bounced ideas off each other. Speaking about regionalization, there are a couple communities in the state of New Hampshire, Campton, Thornton, and
Twin Mountain.
Twin Mountain.
That's one.
Tilton Northfield does it as well. So there are some departments in our area that do this that we can look towards. So while we met, we just determined that we needed to write an executive summary and have some short-term, long-term goals. And throughout my career, we've been discussing this in the fire service in this area for years and years and years. But I'm pretty excited because we're actually moving forward with some of this stuff. We wanted to meet with all of our boards to discuss this, to bring it up to you, to see if we could sit down and have a meeting with the towns of Madbury, Barrington, and Lee, June 16th. We're looking at having an outside facilitator so that everybody is on the neutral ground. The key areas that we were looking at were operational efficiency and shared resources, cost saving and financial opportunities, improved emergency response, personal development, training, retention, and community safety and service. So I gave you that document. That's what we've been discussing, we've been putting together. I also did have a meeting on May 7th with Tom Purley from Madbury and Captain John Janelle from Barrington. And we've already started working on some of these short-term goals that isn't gonna cost any money. It's talking about automatic mutual aid. We looked at a response matrix that Rochester uses. So in the bigger picture, I'm looking at this as, Lee Station 2, Madbury Station 3, and Barrington Station 1. And depending on the call and the area, we'll send different pieces. So to not tax the system right now with the automatic mutual aid, we're looking at the heavy corridors like Route 9, Route 125, Route 4, so that if there's a car accident in any of those areas, not all departments go, but we might send an engine, Barrington's gonna send an engine, so we'll have 2 trucks there. Because right now, we have great staff, we're experienced, but we only have 2 people on shift, unless me or Jeff are here, so that's just building up that personnel in the same. So all I'm asking tonight is for the board to look at going to the meeting on June 16th, so we can all sit down at the same table and talk.
Sounds good. So what time is it?
What day
No.
is it?
It's the 16th.
Uh,
I don't think we've come up with the time yet.
I can either talk with the chief or talk to Connor and
Okay,
get it as soon as I can. I'll get it out to you.
just remember when my bedtime is, so.
No idea when your bedtime is.
Oh, really?
If
Okay.
you want to make it known, we can make sure we.
All right, all right,
Let's
great.
put it in public now, just get it over with.
Sounds good.
No, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can read this. Thank you for sharing this with us. Don't you leave yet. Fire truck, demo model, any success?
So I talked to all the members, everybody's looking. We have a list of 6 right now that we're looking
Yeah.
at. They're all in different stages. Some are on the line right now being built, some are gonna be ready in July, August. So, one of the members made a spreadsheet that we're just kind of going through. With them being demo, it just comes as is, so there's not bells and whistles and we can't pick too many options. So we're just kind of going through everything right now, looking at prices. The cheapest that we found is $715,000. And then the most expensive that we're looking at is $855,000. So
Then there'll be a cost to move all the stuff on engine 2 that you're gonna transfer to the new one, correct?
we'll just do that. The only thing that will have to get moved over is the radio.
All right, so there's no real big cost
Nope.
with any of those particular ones. All right.
I think the biggest thing is to change the color. All these are coming out red.
Well, we got good price on what, that wrap stuff.
You can
Right,
wrap it.
we could wrap it.
We can wrap it.
The Tahoe's wrapped, the utilities wrapped.
Is that like PPF? Is that wrap stuff is, or what is it? Does
No idea.
it protect anything? No, not really.
I know what it is.
The only other thing, question I have, this is really for Andy. We've put the thing, I saw it in the newspaper, we've petitioned the logistics, and I don't know if you have information on that, the logistics of, okay, let's say the chief finds one 2 months from now. Now, does the court say, okay, when you're ready, we'll do this, or do you have to do it at a certain time?
My understanding is, the most immediate thing we need to do is to actually petition and get granted permission to have the meeting. But once we've been granted permission to have the meeting and get through a deliberative session, my understanding is that we can indeed choose up to a certain amount of money, up to a certain time period. We don't have to have a specific model on the ground ready to go
Okay.
at the time of the meeting.
So basically, based on what the chief has just said, we probably ask for the 800 and whatever it is, 1,000, whatever the highest at that particular point is. And if it's less, it'll be less.
Yeah, and it's going to be well into July, I would assume, before we could have a special
Okay.
meeting. As I mentioned, we have to petition the court, we have to have a deliberative session. Supervisors of the checklist are involved, we have to give them a certain number of clear days prior to the deliberative and the election to be open to the public. We have to wait at least 28 days after the deliberative session before you can hold the election. So there's a little bit of schedule involved.
Okay, all right. And the other thing, just to see, so we're looking at probably the summer, so Mass Way should be relatively easy to get in terms of space.
Yep, and I don't know what the turnout would be too. You may well be able to use downstairs here.
3 people show up?
Well, I'm thinking a regular deliberative session, we
never
don't get a great turnout. but-
Okay, all right.
No, I do have a timeline
Oh, okay,
from the attorney,
okay, excellent.
and those are the things that you've seen. You have to notify the public that the board has voted to seek a special meeting within 24 hours of the board doing so, and you also have to advertise in a local newspaper, and there's no substitute for local newspapers in the RSA yet.
Okay, all right, good. So just keep Andy apprised, and so he can let us know when you found something.
I will say
Bothering
that,
him every time I see him.
I'll say the good thing that we found out with all these demos is that a lot of the companies are moving to that model because they're so backed up with all the custom trucks that are taking 2 to 4 years that they realize what they've kind of done. So they're coming out, each company almost has like 3 different models that they're constantly making.
Oh,
So I don't think we'll miss out on an opportunity to purchase something because of a timeline. I think we'll be okay.
okay. And they seem to be okay with, okay, you found one. Will they hold it until we have the vote and stuff? I assume.
I'd have to talk to them more about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Because, Andy, can you share with him the timeline, or let him know after we get approval?
Yep.
So if he finds one next week and we don't do anything until July or August, will they hold it until then, or will they say, hey, first come, first serve, if you're not?
But I'd assume a lot of them will have another one coming right behind that one
Okay.
because they're making them so much.
Okay, all right.
No, I will let you know as soon as, and I have to let everybody know as soon as the court
Okay.
approves the meeting,
Okay.
assuming they are going to approve it for us.
And you guys are muddling through with just one engine?
Yeah, we've
That's
had
okay.
some hiccups here and there. The tanker lost his exhaust 2 weeks ago, so that was out of service for 24 hours, but I've talked to, and this is part of the regionalization,
Yeah, I
that
was gonna say.
we've talked to the other departments, and Madbury reached out and they said we could utilize an engine if we had to, if something happened, so.
Is that something else they're gonna cover? I didn't get a chance to read this whole thing just while you were talking. But I assume there's duplication between those three entities, right?
Yeah, and that's a big opportunity that we're looking at. One, you know, if we buy 24 air packs, that's a big cost, but if we're buying 60, we can get the cost down,
I see.
and we can work together as communities. With the apparatus, maybe we house the rescue truck and Barrington doesn't need one, Madbury doesn't have the space for it, so now our communities have one. And then maybe we have 2 tankers and not 3 tankers, so that's something we're definitely looking at.
Okay, good. Good. Any questions for the chief?
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Town administrator.
Yeah, the first item I have is the wolf easement, and I don't know if the whole board remembers this, but this is a right-of-way over the wolf property that the town owns. The select board voted to extinguish it last year. The wolves do not like the right-of-way over their property. It was, the right-of-way came with a purchase that the town made, I understand, quite a number of years ago, and asked the town to extinguish it. The board agreed and went to extinguish it, and it turned out that we hadn't passed the specific RSA. I'm gonna say it's 41.5, 41.14, something like that, that gives the board authority to dismiss or dispose of real property. So we have 2 options. You could come to the town meeting with the specific easement request, or you could come to the town meeting with passage of the RSA, which would give the select board permission to dispose of property as they saw fit, without a town meeting vote. And that did pass at the last town meeting, so the board is now free and clear, almost, to release the right-of-way on the wolf property. And I say almost because if the board chooses to release it and takes a formal vote and signs the release, I then have to give it first to the planning board and then to the Conservation Commission. And they have no statutory authority to uphold it, but by RSA, they are supposed to look at it and make a recommendation to the select board, saying whether they agree or disagree.
Question, since I wasn't involved originally, what was the piece of property the easement was for?
It's, this is the wolf's personal residence, and my recollection is that it's a right-of-way that provided snowmobile trail access and hiking trail access over their property. As you start down Lee Hill Road, where the river runs under the road, it's between the river and the wolf's residence.
Okay.
And the right-of-way bends up behind their house, and they've had a fair number of late-night recreators and that sort of thing close to their home. They did work out an agreement with the snowmobile club, so in years when there's sufficient snowpack, the snowmobile truck club can still maintain their trail, but they would like it extinguished for just general use.
Yeah. When you're going down Lee Hill, it's on the left-hand side, right before Malfunction Junction.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody knows where that is, right?
Malfunction.
And it was right of way. So I don't think the wolves were against the right of way, they're against the noisy people
Yeah.
that came down there partying and doing stuff in the river in the woods and stuff like that. So as far as I know, the Conservation Commission is okay with it, but go through the process.
I think the planning board and the Conservation Commission had both given it its blessing in its first time around, but
So the police chief will just have to be aware that if people go down there and they're still using it right of way, they're trespassing.
and I think that was the problem. The wolves had gone out and said, hey, this is private property, get off it. And people had retorted, no, there's a right of way, it's a public trail, leave us alone.
Is somebody gonna put up a sign that says public?
Yes, I believe Karen has discussed this with the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
There's some signage.
Just so it's noticed that, people can still assume that it's a right of way, but it's not anymore, so.
There are some, if they haven't been removed again, I believe there are some homemade signs made with bright orange spray paint that say
Okay.
this is not a public way.
That'll do it.
But I have the actual quitclaim deed and release.
Is that language that has to be read? Is that a motion?
Yeah, actually, you probably should make a motion to approve the quitclaim deed and release for the Wolf property right of way. If you have that. That front page should give you the title. I got it.
The whole thing? Oh my goodness.
I think if you made a motion to grant the quitclaim.
All right, I move to approve the quitclaim deed and the release of right-of-way on the Wolf's property located on Lee Hill Road. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Was Denise gonna notarize this?
Yeah, she's gonna use her official notification. You get $100 every time?
$1 is the notary charge in Lee. The second item I had is retirement. We have a long-standing employee who is coming up to retirement, and I know that the department he works for has some plans for recognition and celebration, but I didn't know if the board wanted to do something, and thinking along the lines of a plaque or something of that order.
Sure.
I think we should.
I think he'd rather have the half of a pig, but, you know.
We can
That's
make
what I'm
arrangements to
told.
get him half of it.
No, that's already in the works.
Yes, there is I believe,
Yes.
in-ground pig roast or pig
Yes.
smoking.
I heard that he was interested in party until the half of the pig was offered, and now he's game for having the party, so. Yeah,
Just
so
the pig.
maybe a plaque that says in recognition of his, I don't remember, 20s, I don't remember how many years, 28, 29?
Yeah, it's
Something like that.
very close to 30, so.
Okay, and, yeah, and then nice words that you always put on, so
Yes.
go visit. Are we visiting Tuck's trophies still, or, okay, all right,
Here we
say hello
go.
from me.
Tufts Trophies actually moved.
Ooh,
They-
closer?
No,
No, they moved their operations to Alton.
What?
but-
to his home.
Oh, so you have to travel all the way to Alton?
We
You can make arrangements to meet him.
Oh,
To
okay,
pick it
all
up
right,
or we have it mailed.
okay.
But I also discovered when I visited the first time, I had come through Alton and picked up a plaque for whoever, that he has a really good saw sharpening business and set
okay.
up there as well, which I didn't know he did. So if you've got chainsaws or anything,
So maybe you can bring
contact me and I
my
can drop them
my
on.
sharpening things up with you when you go? Yeah, so I assume there's still money in the gifts and.
Yep, there is.
Have they set a date yet? I don't.
I don't know that the actual event at DPW is set yet, no.
Okay, so in terms of presentation, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get him here. We might just do it there, maybe, I don't
We
know.
might be able to, we could do it there, or I'll find out the logistics of that.
All right.
I know it, and that will be easier. I know in previous events at the highway, we've done breakfast at like 6:30.
Okay.
Not everybody wants to come to breakfast at the highway garage at 6:30.
Roast pig at 6:30.
6:30 in the morning, roast bacon. As long as it comes with eggs.
Yeah. I had several things under miscellaneous. Sean had asked me a meeting or two ago about the chairs downstairs. I looked into what it would cost to replace them. Around $200 to $220 a chair. I don't have any specific place in the budget with money earmarked for that. And I believe you've got 6 or 7, maybe 8 chairs downstairs.
Where?
in the meeting room downstairs.
Downstairs. Here,
Oh, the
does that-
ones around, not the ones that you put on the rack?
No, no.
Oh,
No, they're
okay.
sort of like this, but I believe most of them have come from the transfer station. And
Yeah, most of them are pretty bad condition.
there are two of them that are identical to this, and all the rest of them are in bad condition.
Those particular chairs at Staples are $100 a piece.
I can certainly check there too.
Yep, because I have one just like that.
Just like this.
Yep,
Be better than what's down there.
yeah, yeah.
And there are two already down there like this,
So you need 5.
yeah, that I think used to be there and got transferred during an election and never came back.
Never came back.
There's gotta be money for that somewhere.
I will take a
Squeak
look
it
at
out.
Staples and then see, we're headed into the last month here, so we can
Yeah.
take a look and see where there's some supply money.
You make people very happy who sit in those chairs.
The other thing I looked into was the sign John had mentioned at his first meeting back, that he was concerned about the sign in front of the Veterans Memorial by the ball field by Massway. One side of it
Oh, the
is,
volunteer sign?
yeah, one side of it is in completely good shape and legible, the other side is completely splintered and weathered. When I look back through the minutes, it appears that Carol Dennis donated her select board check along with one of the other select board members to purchase that sign, and the DPW had put it up. So I don't, again, there's no specific money earmarked for that, but that was how it was funded initially. Steve had some thoughts about who might be able to redo it. And when I discussed that sign with him, he brought up the fact that the Durgan Park sign, the Boy Scouts had carved, it was that they paid a sign maker to carve it, is in fairly rotten shape right now. You can push your finger through it, actually. So they had discovered that there's another sign behind the one that's on the forefront now, but that is not in very good shape either. So Steve had said the same thing that I just muttered, that he'd be happy to put up a new sign, but he doesn't know what the Conservation Commission would like for a replacement sign, and he doesn't have any money earmarked for it.
Can you send something to Dawn and Company and
Yep.
see if they can discuss that?
I guess the question comes back to the sign that's faded. Do you still want to maintain a sign like that?
Depends how much it is.
Yeah.
So I assume the southern part is the part that's faded.
Yes.
Well, if you spin it around,
I'm
then
just
that's-
gonna, I was just gonna say that. You're reading my mind. for
That's
God's
what we
sakes.
could do, put it on a rotating thing that just spins.
Windmill sign.
No, if you can find out how much it is to, I would assume we would repair it.
Yeah.
But we're talking hundreds of dollars, yeah, but if it's like thousands, because the Little River Park sign was what, $580?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so, but they're just replacing one side, but I don't know. So if you can find out how much it is to replace or fix it or whatever, so.
I will see if I can get some hard numbers.
Okay.
What else did I have? Mr. Bugby had asked me about the stipends that are paid to elected officials. I guess I don't know why, but I was misleading in my response to you when I told you that it would be paid in end of March or April. When I went back and looked through the books with the bookkeeper, she said we have, for the last 3 years, paid that in June, right before the end of the year.
No, I disagree with her. It's always in March, because it's the end of people's terms. One year she did it in July.
Right, her
Yes.
her
So-
first year, we missed the.
I've been doing this for 14 years. No, that is incorrect. So
Okay.
it needs to be paid now, because people are expecting it. So it needs to be done.
All right, I will put it in the next,
Well, we're talking about how many people?
I think, we're talking about people that actually accept the money, and we're
Yes,
talking about
that's
people
two different
that,
things.
and we're talking about people that have actually returned their tax paperwork. And I think last year
There's
that,
3 different things.
there were maybe 3 or 4 volunteers who were actually paid.
All right, so let us cut separate checks for them, because they should not have to wait this long.
All
So,
right, I will have it in the next run of checks.
okay. And tell Taylor, She is incorrect. She needs to look at her records and see that, no, that does not happen in June. Never happened in June. Happened in July one year. I think that was the
It's happened in
first year.
June one other year too.
I don't remember.
Because you're so rich, you don't care.
Well, actually, I haven't filled any paperwork out to
Ooh,
these.
you're one of those.
Nobody asked me.
Uh-oh.
If you want bank paperwork, we will need your bank information. We've got a form if you want it
Don't
auto
you have it all from
deposited.
the past?
No, we need a fresh form. We've got a new bank too, so.
We have a bank, yeah.
Okay, and that was, the library trustees asked me if the board had given any thought to whether they would consider signing the SMP design contract. And I told the library trustees that the board had not talked about it,
No, you haven't.
and I would mention it to the board this evening. So I'm
That's the ramp, right?
Yeah, it's the ramp and the vestibule and all that other stuff, so. I think in terms of the discussion, I don't know if we want to have it in there because it's a legal thing, but,
Mhm.
because I've asked Andy to update us on legal stuff in there, so. Maybe we can talk about it in there and then see what we come up with.
Good point.
And that's really all I had.
All right, anything in the consent agenda anybody wants pulled?
No.
All set? I move to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second? Dave, you're doing all the seconds tonight. He's putting you to work. Putting you to work. All right, any discussion?
No.
No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Unfortunately, there are plenty of signatures.
Yeah, you weren't making Dave work too much
I'm
tonight.
making work.
So everybody's pocketbook is gonna be $9,426,265. Light.
Light.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Oh, can you? Oh.
You don't say anything, do you?
It's coming, the next
Oh.
one.
Can you keep us up to date? Maybe Karen can keep you up to date on all those developments that are coming through, or maybe you can.
Yes,
'Cause they're gonna come through you too.
They're gonna come through. About
So
three of
can
them, I
you give us-
guess.
Yeah, give us an update.
yep, there are some commercial property development and some potential residential. One of the things I was talking with John before the meeting about too is there's some interesting legislation regarding planning and zoning that's coming out of both the House and the Senate. Last week, some things moved that could have real implications for local communities like Lee. One of them makes manufactured housing and mobile homes eligible for any home site by right, without the local community's ability to restrict. Another proposal allows for mix of residential and commercial property development at the property owner's discretion, with the community having very little ability to restrict.
So in essence, taking away local control.
This is very much taking away local control, and I have an article that Todd Selleck shared, and I've got the list of bills in both the House and Senate that an HMA is tracking that I can send you.
Anything with the PDIP one?
I haven't seen the final iteration of that. I don't know if John is aware, but they were tweaking and changing.
Tweaking and changing.
I think for the most part, though, it was favorable. The municipal association was pleased with what they were doing.
Uncasville.
Uncasville?
That's like an Indian name, isn't it? Uncas.
Uncasville.
That one needs signatures. I think that's the last. Nope, that's one more. No, that's. Series of patches and shirt designs. There is,
We're gonna go broke with all these signs here that didn't.
I did use that.
most of those were taken from the municipal association.
Oh, they were
conference in
stolen.
September. Well, they've offered them to you as incentive to stop.
All right, old business, hobo shed and vault containers.
Yeah, I talked with DPW Director Bullock, and as I believe put in an email, the DPW crew was not able to take the training that I thought they had taken in Epping for lead paint remediation and cleanup. Steve also mentioned that they don't have the equipment, they don't have the level of respirator you need to remove lead paint or the containment bags or vacuums or what have you that they use. He thinks that the hobo shed should definitely be addressed for that lead paint. There's lead paint on the entire building, but the white portions have had latex paint that have, at some point, someone attempted to remove the lead paint that was there, and New Hampshire's remediation 101 is to cover where the lead paint was or is with a thick coat of latex. So Steve's feeling is most of what's falling off as white paint flakes is latex. The doors are not. That is solid lead paint, anything that's red on the trim of the doors, and can't just be scraped. And in Steve's mind, that they're in such poor condition that you couldn't just paint over them with latex as remediation. He really thinks you need to get a contractor to come in and scrape everything and remove the paint. He suggested the people that did the library last year. He said they were an efficient crew that did a good job. Took all the lead paint off the backside of the library. We actually have a fairly significant paint credit with Sherwin-Williams. And Steve feels that he's got the manpower to paint that if we could get a contractor to come in and scrape it.
So can he find out how much that is for that company? Now, this isn't the same people that did the front.
No, completely different.
Okay,
A completely different organization.
yeah, so yeah, if he can find out how much it is, and then we can go from there. So the company would come in, scrape off all the paint, the white paint, and then Steve's people could paint over it? Do they need
Right.
respirators for?
The contractors that come in will have respirators, they've got containment bags, they put down fabric on the ground before they start.
But when Steve's crew paints
No,
it?
Steve's crew would not, they could
Okay.
paint it with latex once it had been.
Okay. That's not gonna be exposing any of the lead paint that they,
Good.
because he's not gonna be able to scrape everything off. He's gonna be able to scrape most of the flaky stuff, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say about the doors? Cannot paint over them?
They would need to be scraped, and he can't scrape them.
Okay. But you said they're in bad condition, is the wood?
They're not in great condition, but we went back and forth, and his final thought was if you could get those contractors to come back and scrape everything, we could paint it.
Okay.
And I believe we have close to a $1,200 credit
Ooh,
That's a lot.
Sherwin-Williams.
how'd we get that?
I should probably talk about that in non-public.
Oh, okay, okay. Is that a legal thing?
Could be.
All right. Anything else for that? So we've got a C,
C and L.
C
Unless
and
you've got
L.
other.
Okay, all right. So I moved into non-public session, MSHRSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, section C and L. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No? You have a question on this? Oh, something
No, it
else?
was the new business
Oh, oh,
that you jumped
you
on.
want some new business?
Yes.
All right, let's finish with the vote. Dave Benson?
Yes.
Yes. John LaCourse?
Yes.
Scott Bugby, yes. Motion passes. Okay, we'll skip back to number 6. You have something? Go ahead.
John Tappan, Chair of the Trustees of Trust Funds. The trustees, in our most recent meeting, decided to send a letter to the Select Board about how we can avoid the reimbursement situation that occurred last year, that the auditors commented on and did not like. And we stated that we should receive the reimbursement request by the end of May. And the trustees are holding June 4th as a meeting for us, which would be our first review of that reimbursement request. And if that doesn't happen on time, we cannot just push money to the town. We have to get the reimbursement request from the town with the documentation before we can approve it. And as you know, last year, that process didn't start until August of this fiscal year. So I'm just bringing this up to, has the board made the request to the town administration to do that? And also noted a change. In the past, we've had signatures. At one time, it was signatures from signatures of the select board on the request. More recently, it was just signature of the treasurer. And we've stated that we don't need that. Those people are not in the office every day, so that slows down the process. And all we need is a signature of the bookkeeper or town administrator, just showing that what we're reacting to is actually a final copy of the reimbursement request.
Any problem with that, Andy, in terms of getting into the, by the end of?
No, and I had talked to Ben as well on Friday, and he reviewed it, so.
And in terms of I believe it's in the letter too, I will request that the board get copied on whatever gets sent to them.
Yep.
So we understand what it is that's being requested and where it's coming from. And also,
And when I talked to the treasurer about this, he would like to receive just the reimbursement request memos. He said he doesn't need to receive everything, but
yeah, I don't
just
need
two
to,
memos.
well, I don't want to speak for you two, but I just need the memo that says how much is, I don't need the receipt of all the receipts. So I assume that's what Mr. Jean needs as well, right?
Yes.
So I assume that will come from you, Andy, or will it come from Taylor, or?
It'll come from Taylor and myself, yes.
Okay, all right. So November. May, what was it, 28th?
End of May.
Okay.
I think it's actually a Saturday, but
why don't we say the Friday, whatever that is? Because that's the, what, the 26th, 28th, 29th, 30th,
There's,
Memorial Day is the 26th.
6th. Yeah.
Sixth.
So it's the 30th, I think it's Friday, so your deadline's May 30th. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
We got plans.
You got plans?
No, I said, we got
Oh,
plans. I always got plans. We're the one to execute them.
Yeah, if you want to try to, just don't shut it off.
Okay, I move to seal the non-public minutes from the meeting.
Second?
Second, any discussion?
No.
No? All those in favor? Oh, wait a minute, no, sorry. Dave Benson? Yes. John LaCourse?
Yes.
Scott Bug, yes, motion passes. Can I just ask you two, are you both interested in going to this? Not particularly?
No.
No? Okay, all right, I guess I'll go and see what they have to say. So let me know what time it is.
Yeah, I'll get the time, and I was planning on attending as well.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Yeah, it's good, two brains, that works out nicely.
I wasn't gonna think too much, I was just gonna write down what was said.
Anything else?
Were you going to make a motion when you took, at least one thing, and then should you make a motion when you came out?
What was that again? You took minutes. I thought it was we did the legal thing in there about the library.
Yep. Was it regional?
Oh, yes. I make a motion that the town administrator notify the Stratford Regional Planning Commission that the town of Lee does not want to participate in the upcoming fiscal year, so we will not be paying dues. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Bingo.
That was all.
That was it.
Good. Anything else? Nope. I move to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second? Not debatable. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
So is the finance director gonna be in tomorrow morning?
She will leave.
So I can stop by and
But an independently wealthy person